You know, maybe you thought it was a good idea to clear cut the middle of the big scary forest and then build yourself a big house there. But then when the goblins and trolls and orcs come along and start knocking on and knocking down the walls, you're going to start to panic. Castle Panic. It's a game that's been getting some press, and for very good reasons. Castle Panic is to me an excellent, and I reckon will be an enduring, modern game design. It reminds me of Space Invaders, where you've got the monsters coming from the outside of the board to the middle, where the castle that you're defending, and from the title, exists. The castle comprises 6 walls, 6 turrets, and as things attack, it will start to get demolished. The walls are okay, you can rebuild those, but the turrets, they're gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. Once all of them are gone, you lose. To be honest, it's kind of a game about all of the monsters reclaiming their home from you jerks who've built the castle there, so I kind of feel a bit ambivalent about it. Castle Panic has one wonderful design choice of putting all the reference material on the edge of the board, and the board itself is very easy and clear to read, and the monster tokens are wonderful and colourful and have nice little pictures. The cards are really simple and really sensibly done. The game flows beautifully. You can play up to 6 people. 6 people, it still works well. I don't get it. How have they managed to do this? Beautifully. It's a good game for kids, and it's a good game to play with kids, and it's a good game to play with new gamers. What it isn't, is it is not a game to play with gamers who've been playing for a while, because after you've played this, and you'll probably win the first time you play it, after you've played this, yes, there are variants in the box, which is very nice of them, and I'd also like to take this just one quick moment. Fireside Games, your customer service is wonderful. Thank you very much for sending me replacement cards and for being so incredibly polite about it. But yeah, it's a game which you wouldn't successfully play with a hardened gaming group of grumpy people like me. Which is why when I bought Castle Panic, I bought it with the expansion, the Wizard's Tower. Now, buying them both together may seem like a bit of a jip, but it's not, because Castle Panic on its own is fine. I just feel like if you've played it once and completed it, you've seen everything it has to offer, and you won't be so impressed the second time. But the Wizard's Tower, as a cheap expansion, adds a huge breath of life into the game. You have better and more and meaner and more interesting monsters. You have variable super bosses on top of the regular bosses. You have new cards, you have wizard cards full of spells that can blow the crap out of things. You have the Wizard's Tower itself, which when it falls, the Wizard's deck is gone, so you've got to protect that as well. The Wizard's Tower ratchets this game up into the realm of proper games for me. And what's even better is it doesn't really slow the game down much. It's got more complexity, but not too much to manage. You get extra reference cards, but they're not something you have to keep scratching your head over and going, oh god, not this again. Castle Panic with the Wizard's Tower is a game I will play a lot. And if you play this game with kids, or if you've bought it for kids, I reckon the expansion isn't that much of a leap up. I'm sure after a while they'll be hungry for more, and this really is something that you can sink your teeth into or give to your kids to explore and expand the game with. It's a proper expansion as it does things which I see as properly expanding, broadening, deepening, enriching, if richening is a word, the game. Enriching, there we go, that's the one I was after. So Castle Panic on its own, not enough panic for me and not enough panic for my games group, but Castle Panic with the Wizard's Tower is a fantastic, solid, brilliant little design. I love it to pieces. It's well produced and it's cheap, and it's got more cooperative elements in it than most co-op games I've played. Arkham Horror, co-op game where everybody has their own character and does their own thing towards an immediate, sort of a larger goal. This is all about swapping the cards and setting up plays so that everybody's working on a puzzle at the same time. I've got this card, but if I swap it with you, then you can use this next turn on this guy, and you know, you make complex kind of plans, and they work. The game can be ended by a random element, so if you don't like randomness stopping your play, then you probably won't like that. But at the same time, it's not a game with a lot of investment. It plays quite short, and you don't feel like you've played 5 hours of Twilight Imperium just to draw a card that says you lose. It's like, it's kind of a, it happens, you know, bad luck, whatever, we'll play again. It's not a game which you're going to get enraged with when you fail. You know, it brings people together. You play together, you win or you lose as a group, unless you're playing the variant where there's one winner, which I'm not too keen on. Speaking of which, the variants in the book are very, very good. They seem to have been well thought out. There's a game variant where somebody plays as the monsters that are normally kind of just scripted. For the money you pay, Castle Panic is a brilliant, lightweight game. It's a game I don't find satisfying enough until you add the expansion, and when you do, that just cements it as one of my favourites for just a game you pull out and play and enjoy and put away again. Everybody has a good time. It's an icebreaker, it's a good one for the start or the end of the evening, or for gamers who haven't played before. If you have people who are unsure, get them into this. It's really easy to learn and it's really fun to play. So Castle Panic by Fireside Games, I'm very impressed with it. I think it's a great design. I just recommend for proper gamers out there, experienced gamers I should say, or people who can handle a little more complexity and want a little more depth, buy it with the Wizard's Tower. You won't regret that decision. And hopefully I'll see you next time.